Welcome to this episode of Say It with Scott, where we look at how the words we use affect the lives we live. I'm Scott Sery. I'm a copywriter, and I'm a lover of how we can take a word here and there, twist them around just a little bit, and dramatically change the entire message that we're sending. This episode is brought to you by Strategic Advisor Board and by my company, Sery Content Development. When you create anything written, or a video, or even just an image, do you focus on what you want to happen to the person that's consuming it? Are you putting yourself in their shoes and saying, okay, if I was to be reading this, if I was to be watching this, what would happen to me? What would my body go through? What would my mind process through? And what would I be thinking and feeling after consuming it? There are about 4 things. You could probably think of more, but there's 4 overarching kind of feelings that you want people to experience after they consume your content or while they consume your content. The first one is you want to make them laugh. There's so much humor out there in advertising and in writing and in anything that's trying to draw you in to become a part of this business's story, because there's power behind that humor. If I tell you a joke and you laugh, I've given you a gift. And there's a physical response in your body that creates dopamine and endorphins and everything. And now you feel really good because I gave you the gift of laughter. Now you feel like you should do business with me because we established this trust. You can establish that trust without ever actually seeing the person by creating something funny that they consume. But the opposite is also true. You want to make them cry. Now, you don't want to make them cry because you're berating them and telling them how horrible of a human being they are, but you want to make them cry because of a situation in the world that you helped to resolve. You've seen the commercials with the poor lost little puppies and they're struggling to get by, and there's this kind of sad music playing, and somebody gets on and says, for only $9.99 a day, you can help save the puppies from dying a horrific death. And you're sitting there crying because who wants puppies to die? Nobody wants, and I can do something for it. When you can create that emotional tie, now people trust you to solve this big issue by doing business with you. But you also want to capture people's attention by making them mad. I did a whole video about this, so I'm not going to go real in depth into it. Just scroll back through the playlist and find out why you should make people mad. You want to make people mad at a particular problem or issue. Those puppies, they probably make you cry, but really you could get mad at the people that are not helping the puppies, or the people that are actually abusing them or getting rid of them. Politicians do this all the time. They set their opponent up as the biggest, most evil person in the world. They want you to be mad at him because I'm also mad at him, and the friend of my friend, or the enemy of my enemy, is my friend. So now all of a sudden we have this connection because we made you mad at something else. Now if you do business with me, we can be mad together, and I can actually stand up and fight against this person or concept or being or whatever it happens to be. Finally, the 4th thing you want to happen whenever you create content, whenever you put something out there, is you want to make people think. You want to make them take their entire worldview, their whole outlook on life, the things that they just believe, you want to flip them over on their head a little bit. Make them stop and think about what they do and why they do it. When you can make people pause for half a second, like the bulk of the work of advertising is done. Most of us just turn off all these ads because we're bombarded every single day. But when you can make them stop and think, all of a sudden you've captured their attention. Now you can sell them on whatever you happen to be selling them on. One of the best examples is from quite a while ago, and it was a newspaper ad for a Rolls Royce. And it says, at 60 miles per hour, the loudest thing is the electronic clock in the dashboard. Back then, cars were noisy, and you didn't get the luxury of driving while quiet. But this makes you stop and think, be like, wait, the tick, tick, tick of that clock is louder than the engine. Now I'm going to read because I want that. I'm sick and tired of driving a noisy vehicle. Work it into your business and your message. Go into everything you put out there with the idea of focusing on one of these 4 different concepts so that in the end you can see which ones hit and which ones didn't. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Say It with Scott. I hope you found some inspiration and education you can apply to your own business. As usual, if it didn't make sense, if you don't want to do it, or if you're struggling through those laugh, cry, mad, think concepts, hit the links in the description below. Reach out, I'd be happy to help. Before you go, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you get notifications every time Strategic Advisor Board posts great new content.